Good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. And our top story today, caregiving doesn't end when the recipient passes away. And joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Ray McGrath is a caregiver. Ray, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Glad to be with you, Jeff.
And, we've been following you, and I know you've been taking care of your mom for a long period of time while she was in hospice. And I know there's been a bit of a development in the past couple months. Why don't you bring myself and the audience up to speed?
Yeah, I guess unfortunately, my mom passed away, and she was on hospice over a year and a half. So, it was a long journey, and but we made it as comfortable for her as possible. So, and I think no regrets in that respect.
Yeah, and from everything that you told me, both on the show and offline, I mean, you made a considerable effort to make her comfortable, and did all the things you need to do. And I guess my first question to you is how are you doing? How is your family doing?
Well, I think because we had a long time to prepare. I think we're doing as well as could be expected because we knew the inevitable was coming. So yeah, so I would say we're okay in some.
Yeah, well, and the grieving process is different, obviously, for everyone, and we all handle that in our own ways. Whether it's you, your wife, your children, I'm sure everyone kind of goes through it very differently. Ray, though your mother may have passed on, there's still a lot of work to do with respect to her estate, isn't there?
There is. I mean, so once again, I in previous videos with you, Jeff, we talked about how I leveraged my peer network. Other folks my age were dealing with elderly parents and trying to care. So the same thing, I had to reach out to them. I said, so what do you guys have to do? I'm the executor. What do you need to do with the will? Turns out, at least in New Jersey, you need to file the will with the county surrogate court. So you have to go through that. And now I was just talking to someone again this weekend. I kind of need to set up an estate account with its own EIN or taxpayer ID number, just to handle any disbursement of funds and selling of my mom's condominium, things like that. So and just dealing with, say, different attorneys and accountants. It's just another process, pretty much.
Yeah, and your mom was very thoughtful and had laid a lot of this out, right? I mean, this is, and not to beat a dead horse, so to speak, but the importance of an estate, the importance of a will, the health directives, those were things that she had and has, so that it makes your job a little bit, you at least know her wishes, I guess.
Right. I knew her. She had her wishes for the funeral, the songs, the music, and then how to dispose of all of her assets and who was to get what. So she did have it all laid out. But at the same time, I was always, I'm still concerned about, what is the correct legal way to do things, because I'm not, you just can't, I wasn't sure if I could assume, I can just sell it and put the money in my checking account, or do this and do that, or pay this person. And, just because I don't want to run afoul of any rules or laws, I'm just trying to follow all the regulations. And I think every state, or maybe every county, has different rules. So it was interesting. But this is a bit of a side note, Jeff. As soon as I filed her will with the county, there must have been individuals who paid to read the official document and immediately started mailing my home, emailing me on my cell phone saying, hey, we'll buy your house cash and we'll do this. And we saw you inherited things. So there's a whole subset of very aggressive or creative realtors looking to kind of capitalize on the situation, so to speak.
Ray, that doesn't surprise me. I get a lot of robocalls, not related to that, but I can imagine there are lists out there being sold, and maybe it probably comes from exactly what you're talking about, which is filings. Ray, we're going to take this into the next segment, but I want to start off with your mother had a condominium that she stayed in for the remainder of her life. It's important to be organized when it comes to dispensation of assets. you talk a little bit about how you might think about handling, I don't want you to give away too much, but how you might be handling or want to handle her condo?
So, well, for me, I mean, first of all, you kind of have a lifetime of memories and things you've acquired over the years. And just through the process of like arranging her funeral and speaking to the folks at the church, they were saying, please don't throw out a lot of what you might think is worthless. We will take it and accept it and repurpose it, and it's almost like recycling. But so I was able to donate the vast majority of her possessions to the church, and they even sent a van and individuals to come pick up some furniture and things like that. So I feel like my mom would have liked that, and I think that's helped me. Then I also have had to deal with things that, say, the church or other people didn't want. I gave some items away to other friends and family, but in the end, well, I ended up donating everything. I don't think anything, I mean, a few items went in the trash, but not much. So I think, from a environmentally friendly way of disposing of things, I think I did a good job there.
Yeah, well, certainly if someone else can use your mother's things, that's a benefit. They don't have to go out buy it. You probably get a tax deduction, or the estate gets a tax deduction. I think it's probably a win-win. Ray, as I said, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about caregiving after the loved one passes on. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're joined this morning by Ray McGrath. He's a caregiver. Ray, thanks so much for sticking with us this morning.
Thanks for being with me. Or thanks for having me on, Jeff, I should say.
Absolutely. We appreciate you being so honest and forthright and bringing us in a little bit to your life. Ray, we talked about dispensation of your mother's belongings. She donated them, or you donated them to the church. I want to ask you about creditors and what happens, or what has happened in terms of payments due on her account. How have you handled those?
Well, I've had well, I guess in my mom's case, she's fortunate. She didn't have a lot of cash on hand when she passed. So I had been paying most of her bills for the last few months. But I will say that at the very end, she was getting pretty much a bit of a handful for myself and the caregiver to take care of him. We moved her to a nursing home, and that's where she spent the last month or so of her life. And they asked me for cash. I think it was almost $400+ a day. But they said, don't worry, when and if she passed, we'll refund you any unused money. And basically, I mean, it took the nursing home like almost a little over 2 months to pay me back. And I was kind of waiting for that money because I had advanced them 2 months of, say, whatever. But long story short, so that was a bit of an issue trying to get them to pay me back. They did pay me back. I was just a little nervous about that. But then also, like my mom's health insurance, they were still kind of billing me, so I had to kind of stop some of those payments. When her account at the bank closed, people all are set up for automatic payments of electric bills and gas and electric. When her account closed, the utility company charged a fine for like a bounce check. So I had to call them and explain, look, my mom passed. That's why the account is closed and the check now. So I mean, they waived their fee, but it was a lot of that, just trying to take care of utilities, her cell phone, her, like I said, gas and electric, health insurance. She didn't have a lot. It wasn't overly complicated. I had to turn off some of her Social Security. The funeral home takes care of that. They shut that off. I will say this, Jeff, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but if you pass away, say, before the end of the month, you have to give back your Social Security check for that month, which is kind of interesting, so, but
That's interesting.
yeah.
I mean, that says a lot about the Social Security.
Yeah, because I guess you
money.
get it in advance and I don't know, whatever, but.
Yeah. Well, Ray, it sounds like you, with her help, were able to kind of dial it in. Again, so important that she had all of her wishes. You had power of attorney over her accounts. Just kind of changing gears a little bit. I think you had mentioned to me that you had reached out to your community for caregivers, for assistance. It was tough to find a caregiver. And by all stats, caregivers, there is a drought of caregivers in our nation. People have been reaching out to you, Ray, to say, hey, can I get the name of your caregiver and would he or she be available to assist?
That's exactly true. Yeah, with the unemployment rate, 3.4%. I mean, it's tough. And some caregivers, they were charging more. I didn't hire these caregivers, but they were more expensive than a nursing home. Which, if you can afford it, for me, I couldn't afford that. But my caregiver, I have my peers, older individuals like myself who are taking care of their parents, saying, hey, can you give me your caregiver's contact number? Now, my caregiver, she basically said, hey, I need a bit of a break because I was kind of with your mom for over 1.5 years, and give me a month or two off, and then I think she's going to get back into it now. But I have given her number out to others, but we'll see. But there's a shortage, and yeah, I'll leave it. It's difficult to find someone. Even with my mom, I said, hey, look, I could. This is before she passed. I said, I could find a different caregiver if you want. And she said, no, even though this person has their pros and cons, I don't want to have to go through the whole process of vetting another individual this late in my life. So it's hard to find someone. Like my mom was a little bit difficult, but it's hard to find someone that has the patience and the tolerance to work with an older person and kind of attend to their needs. So,
well, maybe she wasn't difficult. Maybe she was just opinionated. I mean, she was in her 90s. Maybe she had earned that right. Ray,
right.
Just in her defense, and I know you're just putting where you're just saying what you feel. Ray, let me ask you in our last remaining time, last segment, how does your experience with your mom really shape your planning experience? I mean, has this caused you, how has this changed your life other than the obvious? Has it changed how you think about planning, your own preparation, your family, et cetera? Do you mind sharing a little bit, maybe personally, about that, but also your directives and your planning?
I mean, secretly, Jeff, I just hope one night to just pass in my sleep, because the whole process with my mom was a gradual thing, and we didn't know how it was going to end. I mean, it started initially, I would just have to help her once a week with groceries and things like that, or laundry or whatnot. And then it kind of became a full-time job after pretty much like 9 or 10 years. So it was a gradual process. For myself and my family, I don't know. My daughter's a nurse. Sometimes she jokes with me. She goes, you better not, or whatever. I don't want to say anything. But it's I don't know, Jeff. I'm still, I have a will. I'll give myself that much credit, but
Sure.
I haven't planned my funeral.
But have you,
I don't know.
have you had conversations with, again, I don't want to get too personal, but,
Yeah.
but have you had these types of, I think it's just interesting. I mean, when my grandparents passed away, as an example, I thought about mortality, and I thought about the things that I wanted to accomplish. And I have to think that you and your wife, I mean, you've got 3 children. These are probably conversations that you have had, and as well as others, other couples and other partners have had about, okay, well, what do we learn from this? And how do we apply what we learned to make our process even easier?
Yeah, I mean, so right now I'm kind of in, I don't want to call it the honeymoon phase, and because that sounds morbid in a lot of ways, but I'm feel like right now I have all my weekends back, and I'm kind of catching up on things I've put off for years. But at the same time, Jeff, personally, my wife's mother is sick, and so we're kind of gearing up to start taking care of her. So I don't know if it ever ends, Jeff. So I don't know where it's going to go, even with my mother-in-law. Never mind thinking about myself and my wife. A lot of times, you feel young, but externally you're kind of old. But I don't know. I don't want to sound cruel, but I'm not really looking forward to having to take care of my mother-in-law. But we'll see what life brings, So
Yeah,
that's
well, it's just, look, this is part of being part of growing up and being an adult. And I think you handled it with class and dignity. And I think your mom would be, I'm sure she was very proud. Ray, we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you hanging with us over the last 18 or so months and talking about your experience. And look, we'll have you back. We'll talk about something maybe a little bit more positive. Maybe we'll get you talking about markets or something. I don't know. We'll do something totally off topic. Ray, always good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news and lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content, we'll visit our website, and of course, all of our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.